memory. It's fine.
I don't have any of that.
If we can fill an hour talking about a scene where they just climb an elevator shaft, and we can fill an hour talking about an hour and a half long straight-to-DVD film, I'm sure. There's a surprising number of ladders in films on trains, because the Lone Ranger has that great train fights at the end, which is the only great part of the Lone Ranger. Yeah, and Paddington 2 has a ladder bit.
If you put a gun to my head and said my life depends on me telling you one thing that happened in that movie, I couldn't do it.
All I could have told you was there's some bits on ladders on trains at the end.
Now I could save my life with that one factoid, but what a crazy serial killer who just walks around and is like, tell me one thing about Lone Ranger or you're done.
It's a really weird Scream sequel.
I've never seen the Paddington movies, but I always hear, like, if you just want to have your faith restored in humanity, those are the ones.
Yeah. I mean, Paddington 1 is great. Paddington 2 is one of the most perfect films ever made. I've never heard anyone say a negative thing about it, and if I ever find someone say a negative thing, they will not be long for this world. It's a perfect film.
You're the Paddington killer. I love it.
There we go. And there's a great train ladder sequence at the end.
I kept trying to interrupt. My apologies. That was not a good look on a podcast. But I'm going to say Paddington 2 does have many elements of Ernest Goes to Jail. I am dead serious. I swear it.
I mean, I haven't seen it, so I can't vouch, but...
I wrote it, and also Hocus Pocus steals its entire beginning from Ernest Scared Stupid. So... Many people borrow. Hubie Halloween steals from Ernest Scared Stupid. But yes, if you watch Ernest Goes to Jail, then you watch Paddington, you will see the many similarities between the two.
Does Ernest Goes to Jail end with a musical number?
No, but they have pink uniforms. I have an entire article written about it. It's like a madman scratching at a wall in a prison. But it makes sense to me, so I get it.
That's all that matters.
Any final thoughts about this clip?
I mean, it's definitely part of the movie.
Yeah.
It does happen
integral
in this film.
I was worried about that.
Two scenes.
It definitely precedes the scene after it and is a nice epilogue to the scene before it. How about that? The tension is high. There's some nice fire droppings, and it's a nice appetizer to the main course of carnage that is coming.
Billy Business. If Carter Blake really literally had balls of steel, not metaphorically, how much would they weigh? Realistically,
I don't think he would live very long. I feel like that would probably medically be a bad idea for him. But for the sake of argument, I don't know. Let's call it like probably 7 pounds each. So a good 14-pound set of dangleberries there.
Sounds reasonable. Yeah. Maybe that's why he's always sliding. He's just getting pulled to the ground.
It's just gravity.
They had to edit out all of the dong noises every time you
Trying to get through a metal detector for that guy is probably very difficult.
Listen, guys.
I'm really brave, guys, honest.
It just happened one night when I performed an act of bravery.
I just woke up and they were there.
Yeah. It really happened. Jay, you got any other bits?
I like we got some more shark vision. I always like the shark vision.
Oh yeah.
And it's like a prolonged bit. We see it swimming like through the wet entry room and up to the door. It's a nice kind of sense of location from a different perspective of the room we were just in. So that's fun. And the orange light we get from the fiery ceiling, the fiery elevator at the top, is just a nice. Everything's been blue light up to now, so it's a nice change. And yeah, I've been trying to do the deepest, bluest scene. Every scene from now on gets less deep. They're going up. We're no longer at the deepest areas, so it's getting shallower every second. Sad times.
You know how Nick Offerman sits in front of a fire drinking Lagavulin for 45 minutes? You can put it as like a Yuletide. I want just the fire of this for 45 minutes and just sit in front of that and watch it.
Just the occasional bit of debris falling down, just coming towards the screen.
I'll have Megan just drop stuff on my head.
I mean, I could probably ask my editors to make you like a Yule log loop, a deep Yule see Maybe.
That'd be the greatest moment of my life if you.
Yeah,
could do that.
I'll send it to you. I'll make it like an hour-long loop, and that'll be my Christmas gift to you.
Oh, and you know what? No worries if not. But if you can pull that off, I'll just sit there and I'll drink Lagavulin because it's a nice smoky, peaty scotch.
And I'll put a nice little instrumental version of Deepest Bluest as the underscore for it.
Wow. I don't need anything else for Christmas.
When Scoggins is climbing up past Carter, he's climbing up the ladder really strangely. He like puts one arm through the rungs and like uses it as leverage from the other side.
I don't believe Michael Rappaport has ever seen a ladder before he made this film.
Every day is a learning experience for Michael Rappaport.
What is this thing?
Where does it go?
Oh man, we're back to dissing on the Skogs.
Yeah, I didn't say this was forever.
Janice calls them Skogs again too.
Skogs. Yeah.
Man. Yeah. People love Skogs in this facility.
Well, it's like their mascot, isn't he? So.
Hey Billy.
Yes.
Was I the Skogs of the Wizard World staff?
They wouldn't tell you if you were.
No, you were the Stellan Skarsgård.
You were the tower.
Just got your arm bit way too soon, man. Way too soon.
Yeah, I was just peeing in the wind, complaining during meetings.
Yep. Just doing what you do. I always thought that it was like, the line control guy is probably the most qualified to actually like make and run a movie studio, and here he is just putting tape down on some carpet.
I don't know. I learned a lot about human nature in that job. And I think just being around that, like I learned a lot. It was good. It was good.
I actually want to ask you, Mark, and I apologize, Jay, but I want to ask you, knock on wood, ever since I've left Wizard World, it's been about 4 years now, I have not really gotten horribly sick. And my theory is that because I was so sick, like year round the first year I started, and now like it takes a lot to knock me down. Do you also have the unbreakable blood now?
Oh, that con crud has made me like the Toxic Avenger. It takes a lot to get me sick, man. We survived. That con crud's real.
I got strep throat in Philly from just I'm sure it was a Deadpool just walking and coughing in my face.
You got to look up Jay. Look up pictures of Billy doing his because he would do the costume contest in front of like 1,000 people. You got to see the outfits that he wore for these things.
It started off as a joke because we wanted the contestants to feel better. Like, oh, if me and Mo was the other host, if we dress ourselves ridiculous, then they'll feel less, self-conscious. And then after a while, we just got too into it, and our costumes got super elaborate as the years went through. And I was just like, man, we probably could have won a couple times.
You guys look good. Look it up. I don't know if you can, Jay, but
I found Kiss.
Why did you never push us to? Why did you never push us to do a Deep Blue Sea one?
A deep like cosplay?
Yeah, like Mo being the shark and I'll be Michael Rappaport.
The rejection would have hurt me too much. I think like I'd pitch it and you guys say no. I kept my head down at that job unless I was complaining at meetings, and I just kind of did my work.
I now regret. I probably, what? If I didn't already have a costume this year for my daughter, because we're just gonna go to like her grandparents' house, but I would have made her a shark, and I would have had me and my wife dress up as Deep Blue Sea characters. Maybe next year.
I'm just gonna buy a used scuba suit, cut the sleeves off.
Maybe I'll just go in my bra and panties and just do that
with electrical cable.
Yep. Just be like, you get it.
I'm Scoggins, guys. I'm Rappaport from Deep Blue Sea. What the hell?
Yeah.
Oh man,
there's always next year.
Hey, so before we get out of here, man, anything you want to plug before we make our way out? Unless you got more, Jay. Do you have any more things?
No, we cover everything.
We've covered me in panties. We've covered cargo shorts. We've covered spatial inawareness. I think we've hit a lot in this hour.
That's all the notes I had.
And you were wondering how we could do an hour.
Yeah, somehow we've if anyone's still hanging on at this point, check out Reboot It Season 3. Reboot It is our show where me and 3 other guys, we took this concept of, look, at this point in Hollywood, anything and everything will be rebooted, whether you want it to or not. So we'll do it first, and we'll do it as best as we can. We've done Back to the Future, we've done Batman, we've done James Bond, Superman, and everything. Season 3 is going right now. We just rebooted the live-action Disney version of Cars, and it might be my favorite.
Oh, Jesus.
So that's on YouTube every Saturday. Check it out.
If I was into more topical things, I would have asked you how to reboot this, but I'm not, Billy, so I apologize. I'm terrible at being topical. So, and you reboot enough. I didn't want to make you reboot Deep Blue Sea.
I think Deep Blue Sea is definitely, like, that's on our short list of stuff to do. I mean, eventually we will do everything, but the reason why we haven't done Deep Blue Sea yet is because there's only one of them. There's not, like, a whole lore that we can dive into, but maybe that makes it more fun to do.
So there are technically 3 at this point, but I don't think there's any continuation in the story. We don't know. We haven't seen them. But don't need to go down there.
Yeah. Jay, any plugs?
You can find more of my stuff at lifeversusfilm.com or the Lambcast, the large association of movie blogs, largeassmovieblogs.com, and its podcast is the Lambcast. We talk about all kinds of aspects of film, and find me on Twitter at LifeVSFilm, and you can follow this very podcast at Deep Blue Sea Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, or email us deepblueseapod@gmail.com. Mark, where can people find more of your stuff?
All right, so you can go to moviesfilmsandflicks.com, moviesfilmsandflix.com. We also have the podcast, Movies, Films, and Flicks. We just cracked the top 10 in the Netherlands again. Very happy about that. Crushing it in the Netherlands. The Dutch, we did an episode about the Clockwork Orange. No, we didn't. That's a bad joke. So that, I write for the Film Theorist, so I have episodes that just went up about defeating the It Follows creature with math. And then I figured out Count Chocula's lineage, which almost killed me. It almost killed me. It really did. And then I got a couple more coming out, and I got some fun ones with them. And then also Rotten Tomatoes, listen to their podcast. I work on that. And then listen to their Versus videos. I work on that. And I should have a bunch of new articles out for Rotten Tomatoes coming up. So just type in Mark Hoffmeyer Rotten Tomatoes, and you'll read the reviews. So, that's it. But yeah, Billy, thanks for joining me.
Oh, thank you guys so much for having me. This was more fun than I have ever had at a Rennie Harlan movie. So there you go.
Wow.
Wait, you've never had fun with Rennie Harlan movies?
I said this was even more fun. That's not a diss on him.
This much
That's
fun.
a huge compliment to this show.
Well,
thank you.
Oh, man. All right, so for me, Mark Hoffmeyer.
And me, Jay Cluett.
This is Deep Blue Sea, the podcast. We'll see you next week.
Bye.